Senate Committee on Science and Technology. We got one bill and one resolution today, and we are working off of a substitute for the bill, and we have an updated version of the resolution as well. So let's get the resolution out of the way if we could. Senator Albers asked me if I would present this for him. So if I could ask the Vice Chair would you mind presiding so I could present this resolution?
Yes, sir, but you probably were just presenting from where you're at.
I could do it. But I'm gonna follow the process, and I'll step down and let the Vice Chair preside. I'm gonna present the SR 476 LC 365862S.
Or a sat closer if I know it's going to take over. All right, Mr. Chairman, if you would present your bill, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, SR 476, creating a Senate Study Committee on AI.
Before this is a substitute SR 476, and its the LC is 365862S.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sure is. It is essentially the same version that you would have seen that was filed initially by Senator Albers. The change that was made was on lines 30 and 31. I'll address that briefly, but again, this is just an expectation of, AI is becoming not only more prominent in the minds of our citizens, but more implemented really across our culture. My wife's a high school teacher, and her number one issue now that's new than how she taught 2 years ago is how she manages AI and kids writing papers and doing research. It's a real thing from middle school all the way through businesses. So I want to, again, the Study Committee's intention is to get their mind around this and its implications for state government. It was the author's intention not just to have senators, but also have a couple of members from the business and education community and legal community. So the members and officers would be 6 members of the Senate, an instructor from a higher education institution, an attorney with specific knowledge, and a business professional with expert knowledge and experience with AI technologies and products. The change, Mr. Chairman, members would be on lines 30 and 31. Instead of 4 members of the Senate, it says 6 members of the Senate, which will include the chairpersons of the Senate Committee on Science and Technology and Senate Committee on Public Safety. It had been the author's intention that he and I both serve, but that would keep the other members of the Senate from being able to serve down to 2. I thought having 4 senators other than us on this would be meaningful.
And those two are 2 natural committees. We are already having committee meetings, joint committee meetings. When I was chair of Science and Technology.
Yes, sir.
With public safety.
And we had thought about just having a joint committee process to do this. Senator Albers Senator from the 56 preferred to have a specific study committee. I just asked him if we're going to be members, let's have 4 other members to broaden the number of people that can participate, and that's why it went from 4 to 6, giving it a total of 9 members. But with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd be glad to take questions.
Okay. Any questions from the committee?
No.
You have no questions? Is there anybody signed up? Okay, there's nobody signed up. So what would be the will of the committee?
Motion to pass.
I got a motion to pass.
Second.
I got a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of Senate Resolution 476 LC 365862S
By committee substitute.
by committee substitute, say aye. All those opposed, like sign, and it passes unanimously.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. Now we're going to take up House Bill 9088. We have a committee substitute for that as well. There's a sign-up list that no one signed up to speak on. I do think there's a couple folks that may want to address the committee on this. So there's a sign up. Does anybody want to speak, or anyone wanting to speak? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Okay. I do reserve the right as chair. I've been known to call on folks in our committee, and so you may be called on. So if you don't want to be called on, the door's there, be gone. Otherwise, I may call on you to add your wisdom. But failing that, chair recognizes representative to speak to HB 9088 LC 560181S. Some of this is your basic language, Representative Thomas, and there's some other language that was added by some other folks to this. So I wanted to, that's why Ms. Garst or others may want to speak to this. So you may be getting called on.
I think that's a friendly invitation to come up here and talk about sections 1 through 4.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I was subtly suggesting that might be part of the.
Picked up what you were laying down.
So, Chair recognizes Representative Thomas to present the bill.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today, I'm here to present House Bill 988, LC 560181S. Sections 1 through 4 have been added into the bill to pick up issues regarding Chinese-made drones, and it prohibits the purchase of Chinese-made drones. And obviously, we'll allow my friend over here to my left to present a little bit more on that. Section 5 is actually the original language of the bill, and what it does is it allows the Georgia Technology Authority to perform an audit of all government systems to look at what the uses of AI are and to create a report and send that back to the General Assembly. And it also sets some ethical rules to make sure that we're using that technology in a way that's non-discriminatory and advantageous to all the citizens in our great state. So with that, I'll go ahead and open up sections 1 through 4 for my friend here.
Yep, just make sure I got the right one.
There you go.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Tom Rollins will help draft the drone language of the bill, just very briefly. As you may know, the FBI, Homeland Security, everybody else who is involved in intelligence in the U.S. has constantly reminded us lately that the drones that we purchase or use are subject to being used to do espionage especially by the Chinese. This bill is intended to create an official list of cleared drones. That list should not be hard to make because the federal government has already done a lot of the work for us, and it would, once that list is created, it would limit the ability of state and local government entities to purchase new drones that are Chinese made. I understand some brilliant individual may want to add to this, not only purchasing, but perhaps leasing, acquiring, otherwise, and I'm certain that would be welcome. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah.
Thank you. What are the questions from members of the committee? I caution the committee it signaled its intentions early on by their desire to make this a 10-minute committee meeting. So I don't know I don't know that I'm going to get a whole lot of discussion. Any questions from members of the committee? Number 11. Chair recognizes Senator Payne.
I don't have any questions, but I do have an amendment that I'd like to offer at the appropriate time.
Recognize you at the appropriate time. We're not quite there yet,
Okay.
but we're getting there. Any other questions? Okay. Chair wants to call on somebody. Mr. Fashion from the Technology Authority. You can stand in place. You can come up if you'd rather. Any thoughts? I mean, again, I'm not going to put you on the stand necessarily unless you have things to say. Any concerns, questions?
No, we appreciate the opportunity to work with Representative Thomas on this. We have no concern with the bill, and it aligns with a lot of what we're currently doing as an agency. We're doing AI and creating this annual report.
Yeah. Okay. I think the gentleman's, concern is just that it's the executive agencies that do this, but from a legislative advice and consent oversight perspective to say that there's no visibility into an agency unless this is being done, and the scale of this is such that people want to know. That's what I essentially want. So, anybody else thoughts? Anybody? Okay, seeing none, author anything? Any questions, concerns?
No, but if the amendment's what I believe it is, I'd consider it friendly.
Yes,
So,
it is friendly.
yeah.
Well,
I believe you'll find it friendly.
Before we take an amendment, let me get an underlying motion. Is there a motion on the underlying bill?
I'll make a motion to pass.
Can a motion do pass?
I'll go ahead and second it.
I got a appropriate second. Do pass and second. So the bill's in the breast of the committee. Now would be the time to make a motion for any amendments.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to, for the amendment on, just to amend line 59 in two separate places, but on line 59, after the word purchase, where it says other political subdivision of the state shall purchase, to add or expend public funds for the contractual use of, and then, instead of and then put unmanned aircraft system that is not approved by the unmanned aircraft system.
So inserting on line, and you want to do it on 59, or where else do you want to insert it?
In 59, and then again on line 88,
Okay.
in lieu of the and, put no state agency shall purchase or expend public funds for the contractual use of unmanned aircraft system that is not an approved unmanned aircraft system.
Or before the word and, so it would say use of an unmanned aircraft.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I'll state that again as I hear it, confirm we're right, and then I'll ask counsel if he has any thoughts on language. Okay. So lines 88 would read, no agency shall purchase, insert, or expend public funds for the contractual use of an unmanned aircraft system that is not approved, an approved unmanned aircraft system. Meaning having the effect that not only could state or local government agencies not purchase these, they cannot expend public funds for the contractual use of these. Smaller governments likely will not purchase these. It could have the de facto same effect. Is that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, these drones are pretty expensive and maintenance is high on them. So there's every bit of possibility that they may lease or contract another third party out to do it. So I think that this is a great amendment, and I appreciate you bringing it.
So, Chair would ask counsel any issues with that language?
No problems with the language. I'm double checking. It will also need to be added. That same language will need to be added into the title of the bill on line 8 to prohibit the purchase or expenditure of public funds
Okay.
for the contractual use of on line 8.
So does the author of the amendment authorize counsel to make appropriate changes?
Yes, make that appropriate
And
change,
numbering.
please.
Appropriate. Okay. So does everyone understand the amendment? Any questions on the amendment? Any discussion? No discussion. Is there any objection to the adoption of the amendment? Any objection? Hearing none, the amendment's adopted. Okay. So on the underlying HB 988 LC 560181S, we've adopted an amendment. I do have one question. Chair recognizes Senator Bearden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, this is my first meeting in here, so just making sure I'm correctly on this. It's just for governmental agencies, correct? Okay. That's all I have.
The effect of the contractual line would be if you're a private sector entity that's operating under a government contract, you would have to use one of these authorized systems. But if you're privately using it for your own purposes, that's not pursuant to a government contract, you're not prohibited. So it's not a ban on uncovered systems. Just like in the federal sector, if you're a government contractor, there's certain covered communication systems you're not able to use even within your company as a contractor. But if you're not a federal contractor, you can use whatever you want to use. Any thoughts from local government entities or anybody else out there? Hearing none, we've got a do pass motion, we've got an amendment that's been adopted. All those in favor of a do pass HB 988-560181S as amended by committee substitute, signify by raising your right hand. And it's unanimous.
Thank you very much, Chairman, Committee.
Appreciate you guys. This will likely be our last hearing this session. It's not to say we couldn't call another one. I will tell you that when session's over, there are some things we're going to be working on in the interim. One of those was going to be AI with the establishment of this AI study committee that may take on some of that scope. But appreciate everyone being here. Any questions from anybody or anything to put before the committee while we're here? Seeing none, appreciate your presence. All the committee, we stand adjourned.